No, not yet. Now it's
Yeah,
live.
now it's live.
All right. Already.
Nice.
He's ready to stream.
Got my coffee and my off-brand Tums, so I'm ready to go.
Ooh, this is a good combo.
You're drinking coffee this late?
I am. It actually, apparently this is a fairly common thing with people of Norse heritage, where they can drink coffee to go to sleep, and that happens with me. So
some people have a paradoxical reaction to coffee. But people of Norse descent, regardless of their particular constitution, they just drink coffee. Well, I mean, I should say Scandinavian people drink coffee all the time. Some people of Norse descent retain that in their culture. Yes. How Scandinavian are you, though? That's the question.
Yeah, probably anywhere between probably 15 to 20%, something like that.
Right.
Decent chunk. But yeah.
I like that light behind you, Christian.
Yeah.
I want
it was one of the few. It was one of the few good deals. One of those Amazon Lightning deals. It was $5 instead of $40. So I was like,
I'm hoping some shadowy figure will dart across there, and we'll just all be like.
There's some shrimp and stuff in here. You'll probably see flying around, man.
Oh yeah, your whatever. I forgot how to say it. Something doxal.
Oh, the axolotl. My daughter has an axolotl in her room. I just have shrimp and snails in my office.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Gotcha. Chat's here. Did I put the link in the chat, or did you guys want to hit up the topic first and drop the link in, or what?
I think you should just let anyone in. That's my 2 cents.
What? All right, just anyone. All right. Yeah. What do you say, Christian? You give the title, so.
Yeah. We open
all right, it up. There it is. It's in there.
Cool.
Hop in, chat, if you'd like to. So, what is this title about, actually? Make TLC Matter IRL. I don't even know what it means, but
and it was so the first name I thought of for this one was where TLC impacts IRL. So where this little corner impacts the real world, right? Our individual lives outside of this little corner. But then I thought this other one felt more like a call to action, which is a little more exciting, I guess. But make TLC Matter IRL is just a lot of times it seems like we can kind of get stuck up in our heads in this little corner. And I've been kind of thinking on that a little bit lately and how we can make it more practical or something, but not that it isn't already being done in some places. And that's what I kind of want to start with, actually, is how I've been personally impacted in real life by people in this little corner and by stuff in this little corner. So just kind of starting out with a little bit of gratitude, and then we'll go wherever it goes. But, so yeah, I've been, people who've been following me to any degree over the last few months really know that been going through some difficult stuff in the family, health-wise. My father-in-law is still recovering from brain surgery. My mom just passed away on the 7th from a initially successful dual lung transplant, but eventually her body just couldn't do it. So, and the amount of support and stuff that I've gotten from people in this little corner has been a tremendous blessing in my life. Not that I don't have people in my immediate, in real life circle that also support me, because I certainly do. But the additional outpouring of support from this little corner has been both a spiritual blessing, but as well as a material blessing, because I started a GoFundMe a few days ago, and it just exploded. It would it's doing really well, way better than I ever expected. So our initial goal, we were basically at double our initial goal right now, which is insane. And that's just to help my dad with the funeral expenses related to my mom, and then also he's just had a whole lot of other financial expenses that came up during the course of my mom's hospitalization since September. So this is really going to go a long ways towards helping my dad. So,
but it sounds like it might be that he can still use further support. Is that correct?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if we because I saw that GoFundMe and I did see that it had met its target, and I was like, well, then maybe not. But if you're saying that actually your family can still use additional support at this time, is that GoFundMe, is it still in operation? Is it?
Yeah, it's in operation until I think the 20th.
Okay.
Yeah, and to the I mean, some people in this little corner have just blown me away. Quite a few people from this little, and I just want to add also, like, you two guys in this chat, and 3 guys in this chat, in this discussion, as well as some other folks in this little corner. I've had some like one-on-one, non-recorded, non-live streamed support from people too in this little corner. That has again just been really, really great. So first, I personally have been impacted in my real life by this little corner outside of just the intellectual, theological, spiritual, philosophical stuff, which has also been a blessing. But this other stuff in the last few months is just, it's shown me the real life potential of this little corner. So that's all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Here he is. Man of the hour. It's Mitch. What's up?
Hey, Mitch.
I know.
Hey, man.
Hey.
What are you guys talking about?
Drugs.
I just
How the TLC, this little corner, impacts real life. And Christian was just sharing how he started that GoFundMe, and it has kind of taken off from just support from people in this little corner and stuff. So I dropped the link in there again too, in the chat. But
Yeah,
how people have really pulled through, and because I know that question gets brought up every once in a while, where it's like, how real are these relationships when you haven't met these people in person? But I mean, they're there for you.
What's TLC?
This little corner.
It's like a Paul Vanderklay adjacent terminology thing.
But
Yeah.
What's the G and the L and the C for?
This little corner.
This little corner.
That's hilarious. I'm so zoinked right now.
That's all right.
Yeah. This little corner of the internet.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for, I guess. And then it was like a year ago, they were talking about what is this little corner, and now they're doing it again, I think, or they keep discussing what this little corner is. What is it? What is it? Hey, Mr. Coleman's got my fill up. What's happening?
I see that.
Did he steal my login information? Oh my gosh!
Of
I want
course.
to see what happens when I turn mine off.
That's correct.
What the heck? I hope you all have that one. Turn yours on. See what happens. Oh no.
No.
How would you, if you guys are playing devil's advocate, how would you challenge the notion that this little corner relationships are as legitimate as a in-person relationship?
I'm glad you asked that question. I'm going to jump right in there on this one because the last couple of videos that I uploaded were kind of from that perspective, sort of. There's certainly the negative potential of being a member of this little corner. You can get, this is speaking from my personal experience, so whatever. I can be prone to living inside my head, and this little corner can really feed into that, right? Like we talk about a lot of conceptual stuff, right? That maybe, yes, has real world impact, but it's easy to talk about this stuff and talk about the stuff or write about the stuff or monologue about it on a YouTube channel or whatever. And so I think typically us humans, I know, like, again, speaking for myself, if you can take an easier way, you're typically going to take that easier way for the most part. And so if I can satisfy that yearning in my head for wrestling with ideas, I can kind of fool myself into thinking that I really know something that I don't really know, because I don't think you know something until you put it into action, you know? So devil's advocate side of what I said before about being grateful for the real world impact that this little corner has made in my life. I know, and this isn't just a symptom of this little corner. This is a symptom of like online corners in general, right? Like online groups of any type. It enables and encourages conversation about things, and the degree to which you are, the degree to which you feed off of that encouragement can actually hinder me from going out and doing what I'm talking about. So there you go, Mitch. There's my devil's advocate against myself.
I said I can't bare bottom spank you guys, so that would be my argument.
Yeah. You're missing out on that.
My wife keeps talking about moving to Tennessee, so we can change that pretty soon, maybe.
There we go.
It's a wonderful place to live. I mean, there's no question about it.
It's the best place in the world. Why is she talking about that? It's just too cold there.
That's like a small part of it. Most of it's just the politics and the taxes. So, I'm in New York. For those of you, well, I think everybody in this room knows, but yeah, the taxes here are just absolutely insane. So we can go to Tennessee. We can go to Tennessee and get a house literally 10 times the size of ours, with land like 10 times as much of ours for half the taxes. It's absolutely insane.
That's what people are doing. Moving all over from here. That's why I can't get a house, because everybody keeps coming from everywhere else and buying all these houses. And now I'm SOL, man. I'm just gonna have to leave the country.
Next destination, Wyoming.
Wyoming. All right.
Well, I tell my wife, we visited West Virginia. We went to West Virginia once, and after going through West Virginia, I was like, this is my home. This is where I need to be.
West Virginia is so pretty.
There's like nothing here. So yeah, there's probably some low income crime type problems there that I'm certain occur there. And I know there's maybe not the best medical care and education in West Virginia. I don't know, but I will gladly live there.
Why are you casting aspersions upon the West Virginia education?
I am getting out ahead of people, because every time I say I want to move to West Virginia, people are like, "Oh, there's no medical care there, and there's no education there." So I'm just like, I'm loading it up in the front there. I don't even care if there's none of those things. I want to be there.
Does anybody else have any arguments? Devil's advocate with the.
I wouldn't do a very good job, because I see that like the online friendships are like more real, in the sense that I'm hanging out with you guys in person more than I have some in-person friends. I guess it's roughly the same frequency at this point, because the daily grind of life in 21st century America is very isolating by its nature. So, I mean, it's not really like people, I don't know, in my experience, in my case at least, I don't really know that the internet is pulling me away from real life relationships. I do know that the internet is letting me find people who are really like-minded. And whereas in real life, part of the reason I'm so isolated is there's nobody like me, apparently. but there are the relationships that you have just based on family and based on having worked at different places and this and that, and those are indispensable, even if they're not based on common interests or like similar personality. So
Cal, do you think you would have found relationship? I mean, people are designed and oriented to be social creatures and to be in relationships. So had it not been for TLC, do you think you would have found it elsewhere? Did this just redirect where you found those relationships?
it's a good question. Probably not, because I found the little corner, so-called, when because I had been aware of Paul Vanderklay, because I had been following Jordan Peterson since about, I guess I want to say just not, I wasn't like in on the ground floor or anything, just after he took off. But I was Googling universalism and searching it on YouTube, and I found Luke Thompson's videos. And I was like, I just started commenting on those, like, hey, let me talk to you. I need to talk to this guy. This guy's cool. So that was actually how I got into the little corner, so-called. I knew about Paul Vanderklay, but I guess I wanted to talk about theology. And because I kind of was then and still am now really interested in Taoism and stuff like that. Kind of like way woo way, just like mysticism type stuff, I guess. And that's sort of the angle that I've been interested in theology from. I'm a member of the Catholic Church. There's a church I go to here, but normal people don't talk about theology in that way. So,
I wonder if just like how obvious a net good it is to find like-minded people at all. You know what I'm saying? I wonder if
you should continue doubting your sanity for the rest of your life.
Well, I just thinking out loud about how expediting that process, whether or not it's just so obviously good. I mean, it seems good to me. But now I'm thinking about it. If you didn't have the internet and you were just forced to be with the personalities and people who are interested in this or that, you're forced to be around this certain set of people. Well, what does that do for you? What does it do for just the concept of community in general? It's like almost like we're taking a pill that gives us a superpower. We get on here and we're like, oh, I could find myself with people who like to talk about the things I like. This is silly because we've always done this. People in communities form clubs and stuff around certain interests. So we're able to expedite it, and we're able to even defend ourselves from a community that's not always on our wavelength or something. I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if
there's the aspect of the internet where it can give you too much of a good thing in a sort of artificial way too fast. That's definitely in play, because it's like, you see, this is the dynamic as far as I can tell. There's normal weird, and then there's like super weird outlier weird. And normal weird, you can still find people who are sort of like you in your sphere, and then 99.9th percentile openness or whatever, which is maybe what I am. You're not. I mean, you might find one or two people that are on a similar wavelength as you, but yeah, and so it seems like the internet is the only place for people who are really different to sort of find like-minded people. But then again, everyone's unique. Everyone's different in some kind of way. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely good and bad to it. I don't know.
I guess another way to ask the question is it better to be stuck in a group of people who are more or less homogenous?
Yeah.
Is it better to be stuck in that?
I mean, I've been there. I've done that.
There's a few, like, there's well, first, one thing I've noticed about this particular little corner is that it's an oddly diverse collection of odd people, right? So it's not like I'm going to find a bunch of Christian Goldens in this little corner. I'm going to find a bunch of people who are like at least approximately as odd as I am in different ways, right? So that's good, I think, right? It's validating in a sense, like, okay, it just in the general sense of oddness, but then there's a danger, and this is what I was getting at one point. There's a danger of when you that feeling of validation or belonging in this sort of island of misfit toys can inspire you to recede further from the normal people, right? From the people who are in your immediate sphere.
Maybe.
And there's a bunch of dangers to that. And one of those dangers is it's the general people you're around who are going to, intentionally or not, force you to potentially formulate your oddness or present your oddness if you really value, let's say your oddness, which is particularly the case in this little corner, it has to do with ideas, the realm of ideas. And you want to have conversations with people about these ideas. And you find people in this little corner that you can have conversations with about these ideas, and you can't find people in the real world, in your immediate sphere, that you can have these conversations with. However, I'm assuming that if you value your ideas, you think your ideas are valuable and maybe even valuable to the general public that surrounds you. And the only way you're going to be able to disseminate your odd views, let's say, to the general public around you is by frequent enough interaction with that general public so that you begin to see, okay, I can't say this in this way, but I can I can present an analogy, some sort of little story or something, right? That is more digestible, i.e., George MacDonald writing fantasy stories, right? So, and so I'm just saying there's a tendency of us who, I'm assuming also that a lot of this little corner is introverted. There's a tendency to find comfort in that and just recede into this little corner only, so that you become, for all intents and purposes, useless to the world around you. I'm talking about myself. I keep saying you, but I'm talking just as much about myself as
I feel personally attacked, Christian.
Well, I mean, just speaking for me, the reason I was interested in what we call the little corner was it seemed like the place to go for serious discussion of the zeitgeist. Like when Jordan Peterson came on the scene, it looked like he had put his finger on something that was really, I don't know, just like in Hegelian terms or whatever. It's like he named the X factor. That's not really in Hegelian terms, but I mean, if there's a dialectic or whatever that's progressing through negation toward the absolute, he just found like the next piece of the puzzle, or just kind of found the negative space where it should be, it felt like. And then, but not everyone was clued into that. And then very quickly, it felt like things kind of moved at warp speed past that, to the point where he sort of got left behind by his own students, you might even say. And that's fine, because the players in these in these dynamics, they don't always know what they're doing, nor do they always understand every element that's in play. But I mean, so there was that. There's all, for me, I mean, personally, my ideas, I'm trying to make sure that they only stay within a small group of people, because I know that if you get really super honest about stuff in public, it's like people are not really going to get it. People are just in some kind
What?
of.
I was gonna ask, why do you think that is? Is it like for a time you think your ideas would be more kind of in maybe in this little corner is where the ideas would exist to kind of maybe hammer them out or refine them more before they might be. Do you know why that is? Because like you would think your ideas would be better in a more private. I guess the reason I'm asking is because
I think it's almost like the more worth something is more worth saying and interesting to the extent that it is militating against sacred cows, to the extent that it would go unsaid in polite company, or they like, or it's just.
That makes sense. I think that's why I was asking, because I've experienced that in the past where I've, well, I mean, you grow up in church and you get the sort of the sacred cows or the doctrines or things like that, and then you start to question them, and then I'm just like,
there's just sacred cows of secular culture as well. That's
Yeah. But then you start to question them, and it's like, what's the utility of me actually questioning this? Is it just to try to tear something down? What's the
truth, which is desirable and it's for its own sake?
Yeah, and so that would make me think that ultimately it would kind of reemerge in a more. I mean, that it would just be hidden in like a small little area. That it would come back, like maybe it'd be in a small little area to kind of find out the deeper meaning of it or something like that. Because there's certain things I can name specifically that I was like, that I still, like, I don't think I would just utter that to any person, like just even an idea, because it's just like, why would I bring that up? What's the point of me rocking that boat type thing, or coming after that sacred cow? It's like, what? It's almost like, why do I have the audacity to even do that unless I find out why I'm even questioning that in the first place? So it's kind of like,
what is true has a way of asserting itself and reasserting itself at the world's peril if it doesn't understand it. So that's what Nietzsche said, I am born posthumously and I am a destiny. And Carl Jung said that what a man doesn't understand consciously, he's forced to act out, and it becomes his fate. So you can look at the society that didn't understand Nietzsche as fated to act him out, and Nietzsche became their fate. That's what he meant when he said, I'm a destiny. And so in a similar way, it's like, it's good to work things out, and whether the society is against you or with you, I mean, chances are if they are not against you, then you're doing something wrong, even, because Jordan Peterson was of course very good about all that. But I mean, you gotta just be interested in the truth for its own sake. Maybe that's a little too simplistic, but that's just how I am at any rate.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, there's so there's the general population, which generally gathers around a core, and then there's the outliers, sentinels, people who are outside or near the fringes, right, who are exploring out and gathering information, and that information is sometimes critical knowledge for the general population inside, right? You find out that there's a enemy brewing in the east or whatever, right? There's something growing out there. There's something coming this way that not everyone else knows about because not everyone else is out on the fringes or whatever, right? I'm speaking dramatically, but it could just be the truth of some simple thing, but it's the truth regardless, right? Or the truth of something that, let's say, the general public would look at and say, why does that even matter? Like, why are you arguing over whether or not, the Trinity is a true thing, or universalism is a true thing, or whatever, right?
I have to say one thing. We are currently streaming against Father Eric.
Oh no.
Should I need
This
to
is
turn this
this
off?
is his. No, I'm not saying we need to turn this off, but it might be an even better idea to go join his stream
Oh,
because Father Eric, while he's an extremely busy man, is one of the people who's been here one of the longest times. And I think, frankly, as a Catholic priest, as the only Catholic priest we have, he is a leader in this little community, should be part of the conversation. And frankly, if we're really having this discussion, I say we raid his channel.
Okay, where's the link? Let's do it.
yeah, I don't. Let's do it. Why? How did Sherry get this tiny little smiley face? This is
a tiny
adorable.
like Unicode
Oh,
smiley face.
I know. How sweet. All right, yeah. Let's give us the link. Should I end the stream then?
Let me put Father Eric's.
Send one of us
link.
to scout ahead.
Yes.
Make sure
Question:
it's okay.
Here.
Can any hooligan just jump in his channel? Will we be able to do that?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's do it.
So
Okay, all right.
there's the link to the video, and I'll put it into the. I'll actually put the StreamYard into the private chat, so all of us can go and bother him simultaneously, and he'll be like, "What's going on here?"
Oh, Cletus said he's sad this is ending. Well,
It's starting
Come on.
again at Father Eric's channel.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm
Well, I
gonna
don't
end the
wanna-
stream.
I don't want to cut into his time. So, all right. So how do